1. If a licensee placed the following ad in a newspaper, which of the following would describe the ad? 3-bedroom, 2-bath pool and spa, large lot, $165,000. 8913731. This is false advertising. B. This is misleading advertising. C. This violates regulation. C. D. This is blind advertising. Correct answer is D. Since this ad has no wording in it which indicates that it was placed by an agent rather than an owner, it would be considered blind advertising. 2. It is proper business practice for real property managers to be compensated in all of the following ways, except a percentage of gross receipts. B. Commission on new leases. C. Commission on major repairs or alterations. D. Receipt of discounts on purchases or supplies. Correct answer is D. The Institute of Real Estate Management (IREM) recommends that property managers refrain from taking discounts or commissions arising out of purchases, contracts, or other expenditures of clients' funds, unless such income is fully disclosed to the property owner and accepted with his permission. 3. When budgeting for a real estate office, the phrase company dollar means the money required to establish an office and run it for a given period of time. B. The income of an office after all expenses are subtracted. C. The income of an office after all commissions are subtracted. D. None of the above. Correct answer is C. The company dollar refers to the amount left over after all commissions are subtracted. 4. In which of the following ways could an agency relationship not be created? Implied contract. B. Oral contract. C. Written contract. D. Voluntary offer by the agent. Correct answer is D. In order for an agency to be created, there must be an agreement between both parties, not just an offer by one. 5. A broker would not be required to maintain trust records in which of the following transactions? A. A check promptly delivered to escrow. B. A check promptly delivered to seller. C. A check promptly delivered to the seller that was given as the deposit in an offer to purchase containing a contingency clause. D. None of the above. Correct answer is D. A broker is always required to maintain trust records. He is not required to maintain a trust fund account. 6. In estimating the value of a parcel of real property, an appraiser considers the value of which of the following? A bundle of rights. B. Utility. C. Physical land and the improvements thereon. D. All of the above. Correct answer is D. The appraiser must consider all factors which might affect the value of the subject property. Certainly the utility, the usability, of the property is important, and so is the value of the specific rights that are included in the bundle of rights. 7. The word broker and realtor are A. Interchangeable. B. Different categories of membership in NAR. C. Different titles offered by separate professional organizations. D. Unrelated. A broker is a real estate licensee and a realtor is a member of NAR. Correct answer is D. Brokers are licensed by their state. Realtors are voluntary members of the NAR, a trade association. 8. As used in real estate practices, the land of a riparian owner borders on A river, B. a stream, C. a watercourse, D. any of the above. Correct answer is D. A riparian owner owns land bordering on moving water, such as a river, stream and/or watercourse. 9. Avulsion is the sudden removal of land through a violent act of nature. An example of this would be a landslide, B. earthquake, C. hurricane, D. all of the above. Correct answer is D. Avulsion refers to a sudden tearing away of land by a violent act of natural causes like a landslide, an earthquake, or a hurricane. 10. Trust funds received by the broker must be placed into the hands of the owners of the funds, into a neutral escrow depository, or into a maintained trust account not later than blank business days following receipt of the funds by the broker. 44, B, 22, C 33, D 55. Correct answer is C. A typical trust fund transaction begins with the broker or salesperson receiving trust funds from a principal in connection with the purchase or lease of a real property. Trust funds received must be placed into the hands of the owners of the funds, into a neutral escrow depository, or into a maintained trust account not later than 3 business days following receipt of the funds by the broker or the broker's salesperson. 11. The initial step a licensee takes to sell a property is to a. Verify the subject property's title, b. Obtain a listing contract with the seller, c. Accept a deposit from the seller, d. Accept an earnest money from the buyer. Correct answer is B. The initial step a real estate licensee takes in selling real estate is to secure a listing contract with the seller. All real estate transactions start off from one type or another of listing contracts. A listing, in general, is a temporary employment contract wherein the seller employs a licensee to perform a specific job for the seller. 12. Generally, straight notes are blank notes made for short terms and are renewable at the end of the term. Interest only, B. Non-amortized, C. Neither A nor B, D. Both A and B. Correct answer is D. A straight note is usually a non-amortized note, also referred to as an interest-only loan, made for a short term and is renewable at the end of the term. 13. A percentage lease can be described by all of the following except a. It is a lease on a property wherein rental is dictated by the business done by the lessee. B. It is a lease on a property with provision for a minimum rental. C. It is a lease on a property in which rental is usually a percentage of gross receipts from the business. D. None of the above. Correct answer is D. Percentage lease is a lease on a property, the rental for which is dictated by the amount of business done by the lessee, typically a percentage of gross receipts from the business with provision for a minimum rental. 14. Property tax year begins on July 1st and ends on the next June 30th. The second installment becomes delinquent if not paid by A. February 10th, B. April 10th, C. June 10th, D. December 10th. Correct answer is B. The property tax year starts on July 1st and ends the following June 30th. The property tax year is based on a fiscal year, rather than a calendar year. The second installment for the remaining half payment of the annual property tax is due on February 1st and delinquent if not paid by April 10th. 15. A real property appraiser would generally describe subjective value as value that is established on an owner's desire and need for a property. Subjective value is particularly known as A. Utility value, B. Objective value, C. Insurable value, D. Assessed value. Correct answer is A. A property's utility value is the value that is aimed at the particular use of said property. Utility value is commonly called subjective value. 16. Broker Davis has had a house listed for sale for 9 months without selling it. He knows that the building needs major structural repairs, and he has listed it at 10% above its fair market value. He runs an advertisement in a newspaper that says, 3-bedroom, Victorian. You won't believe the price. Move right in. Davis, 8913731. This advertisement is bad because a. It is unethical to advertise a property that is overpriced. B. If someone buys the house on the basis of the advertisement, the publisher could be held liable. C. Since Davis knows that the property needs major repairs, it is deceptive and misleading. D. It doesn't tell the asking prices required by Regulation Z. Correct answer is C. When a building needs major structural repairs, it is misleading to advertise it as being in move-in condition. 17. A real estate agent may legally represent all principals in the same transaction if a. He has informed all principals that he is the agent for each principal. B. He has obtained consent of all to this agency relationship. C. He is collecting commission from each principal with the knowledge of the others. D. All of the above conditions exist. Correct answer is D. A real estate agent may only represent all principals in the same transaction if he has obtained their knowledge and consent. In this case, he could then collect a commission from all parties. 18. When the public records have been examined in order to determine the chain of title to a parcel of real property, a written summary of that chain of title is known as a. An abstract of title. B. An extended coverage title insurance policy. C. An affidavit of title. D. None of the above. Correct answer is an abstract is a summary or digest of information, hence, the summary concerning the chain of title is known as an abstract of title. 19. When an owner refuses to pay the broker an earned commission, the broker may properly seek relief by a. Filing a statutory vendor's lien. B. Filing a formal complaint with the California Bureau of Real Estate. C. Bringing a court action. D. Any of the above. Correct answer is C. The broker would have to sue the owner for the commission. He is not a vendor, so he cannot file a vendor's lien, and the California Bureau of Real Estate does not settle commission disputes. 20. According to the law of agency, an agent is generally held to have the imputed authority of his principal when dealing with third parties. That imputed authority, A. includes power of attorney, B. always binds the principal to terms negotiated on his behalf, C. usually binds the principal if within the scope of authority granted to the agent, D. implies a fiduciary obligations to third parties. Correct answer is C. In this case, the agent's imputed authority is essentially his or her apparent authority. If the other party had a reasonable expectation that the agent was acting within his or her authority, then the principal would be bound by the agent's actions. The best description of this is Choi. 21. When a broker deposits his own personal or business funds in a client trust fund account, that act is termed A violation of a trust fund security, B. padding, C. conversion, D. commingling. Correct answer is D. To commingle means to mix together. The broker is guilty of commingling if he does mix his funds with those of his client. 22. Which of the following transactions do you not need a real estate license to do? A property owner selling his home. B. A person offering to sell real estate on behalf of another. C. A person purchasing real estate at an auction on behalf of another. D. A person offering to lease real estate on behalf of another. Correct answer is A. A property owner does not need to have a real estate license to sell his own home. A license is required for all of the other activities. 23. The revenue that is received by a landlord before expenses are deducted is called net income. B. Gross income. C. Operating income. D. Revenue positive. Correct answer is B. Gross income is the revenue that is received by a landlord before expenses are deducted. Net income is gross income minus all expenses. Operating income is gross income minus operating expenses. Correct answer is B. Gross income is the revenue that is received by a landlord before expenses are deducted. Net income is gross income minus all expenses. Operating income is gross income minus operating expenses. 24. Which department issues variances and special use permits? Architectural Review Board, B. Zoning Board of Appeals, C. Planning Department, D. Building Department. Correct answer is B. The Zoning Board of Appeals issues variances and they also interpret zoning regulations. An Architectural Review Board protects a neighborhood's historic building designs. The board typically seeks to maintain an area's beauty and unique characteristics. The review board is comprised of people possessing significant experience in architecture or art. Planning Commission is a recognized agency that hears zoning appeals related to challenging a denial of a requested exception to a zoning law. A building department issues building permits, inspects properties for compliance with building regulations and issues a certificate of occupancy once the inspector confirms that the building was completed in compliance with the building code. 25. The improper mixing of a broker's personal and business funds is called earnest money mixing, B. Commingling, C. Associated funding, D. Escrowing. Correct answer is B. Commingling is the improper mixing of a broker's personal and business funds. It is not permitted. An earnest money deposit is the deposit that accompanies the buyer's offer to purchase and is part of the contract. An escrow account contains money held for another party. Earnest money deposits are usually held in an escrow account. 26. The listing agent for a residential property can legally complete the entire real property transfer disclosure statement under no circumstances, B. When authorized in writing by the seller, C. When the seller lives in another state and has not seen the property, D. When the buyer gives the agent a written waiver. Correct answer is A. The Civil Code prohibits an agent from completing the form for the seller. 27. Most buyers of real property receive which of the following types of policies of title insurance? A. A standard policy, B. A leasehold policy to protect against the rights of tenants, C. A certificate of title, D. An ALTA policy. Correct answer is A. A standard policy is least expensive, and protects against most of the concerns that a buyer would have in purchasing the property. 28. When a buyer signs an exclusive authorization to locate a property, there is usually a clause in the form which allows the broker to A. incur expenses on behalf of the buyer, B. collect a commission whether a property is found or not, C. act exclusively for that buyer and no other buyer during the time limits of the agreement, D. represent other buyers during the time limits of the agreement. Correct answer is D. The form referred to usually allows the broker to represent other buyers at the same time. 29. Commingle has a meaning most completely opposite to a trust fund, B. mingle, C. neutral escrow depository, D. segregate. Correct answer is D. To commingle means to mix. To segregate means to keep separate. Therefore, these two terms are opposites. 30. In the absence of court approval, which of the following acts may legally be taken by a minor or incompetent person? A. Acquire real property through gift or inheritance, B. Give a valid power of attorney to encumber real property, C. Sell the real property through a guardian, D. All of the above. Correct answer is A. A minor may receive title to real property without court intervention. If a guardian or power of attorney is desired, a competent court must approve that designation. 31. Which of the following represents a fraudulent misrepresentation by an agent? A. His representation is an obvious falsehood. B. His representation is made with a knowledge of the falsehood. C. His representation caused the aggrieved party to enter into the contract. D. All of the above. Correct answer is D. All of these are examples of fraudulent misrepresentations by an agent. 32. Who signs the promissory note and mortgage? Mortgager. B. Mortgagee. C. Lender. D. Beneficiary. Correct answer is A. The mortgager, borrower, signs the promissory note and mortgage. 33. All property is either real property or personal property. Which of the following would normally be considered real property? Natural growing vegetation. B. Trade fixtures. C. Lumber in a lumber yard. D. Crops which have been sold prior to harvest. Correct answer is A. Vegetation is real property. 34. Which of the following is an example of a freehold estate? The interest created by a trust deed. B. An estate at will. C. A life estate. D. A leasehold estate. Correct answer is C. A life estate is a freehold estate which is limited to someone's life. 35. The impairment of desirability and usefulness in real estate brought about by economic changes in the community is known as A. Over-improvement. B. Obsolescence. C. Economic life. D. Private restrictions. Correct answer is B. The impairment of desirability and usefulness in real estate brought about by economic changes in the community is known as obsolescence. 36. Upon discovering that a salesperson in his office was receiving a referral fee from a local lender for every real estate loan, the salesperson referred to the lender. The broker of record in that office took only two actions. He discharged the salesperson, and he warned all other salespersons in the office never to accept such fees. Based only on the foregoing, which of the following is most nearly correct? A. The salesperson appears to be guilty of commingling. B. While the canons of business ethics may have been bent, no cause for action by the commissioner exists. C. Since the broker was apparently unaware of the practice, only the salesperson can be disciplined. D. Both broker and salesperson may be subject to disciplinary action by the commissioner. Correct answer is D. The broker is responsible for the acts of the salespersons employed by the broker, and therefore both are subject to disciplinary action by the commissioner. 37. When a title company issues a California standard policy of title insurance, the policyholder is insured against loss which occurs because of unrecorded liens and encumbrances. B. The rights of parties in possession. C. Forgery in the chain of recorded title. D. A defect in the chain of title, already known by the insured prior to the issuance of the policy. Correct answer is C. A standard policy protects against forgery. Extended coverage would protect against unrecorded liens or rights of parties in possession. No policy protects against defects already known by the insured. 38. In order to operate a competitive yet profitable business, a real estate broker needs to be concerned with desk cost. Which of the following most nearly represents the correct way to calculate desk cost? Add the total of all the furniture for each salesperson. B. Calculate the gross annual profit for the firm, less the expenses, divided by the number of salespersons. C. Divide the total cost of rent, utilities, and advertising by the number of salespersons. D. Divide the total operating expenses of the firm, including salaries, rent, insurance, etc., by the number of salespersons. Correct answer is D. Desk cost is the total of the operating expenses of the firm, divided by the number of salespersons employed by that firm. It is the break-even amount each person must produce in gross commissions for the firm in order for the firm to stay in business. 39. Typically, when leasing real property, the commission of the leasing agent is based upon a percentage of a total annual rent collected during the first year of the lease. B. Total cash paid by the lessee at the time of the negotiation of the lease. C. Total rent collected over the term of the lease. D. None of the above. Correct answer is C. Usually, the commission of a leasing agent is figured on the total rent to be collected over the term of the lease. The commission can be any amount negotiated and specified in the employment contract. 40. Jesse, an unlicensed employee of a real estate broker, hands out door hanger flyers and makes telephone solicitations, seeking buyers and sellers. Under the real estate law, his activities are a. Unlawful for the broker, b. Commonly accepted behavior, c. Unethical for Jesse, d. Unlawful for both Jesse and the employing broker. Correct answer is D. While handing out door hanger flyers would not require a license, telephone solicitations would require a license. Both the broker and the salesperson have violated the real estate law. 41. In making the decision of whether or not to issue a title policy, the title insurance company would be most concerned with those documents that appear within the a title guarantee, b. title report, c. chain of title, d. title search. Correct answer is C. Documents would be discovered during a title search. The documents which are most significant would appear within the chain of title. 42. If an agent has a listing to sell real property, she must present all offers until a. escrow is opened, b. the buyer's loan is approved, c. the pest control inspection is completed, d. the close of escrow. Correct answer is D. The agent's fiduciary duties require her to present all offers until the sale is final. Close of escrow. 43. A person delegated in an instrument to act legally for another, in his stead, is known as which of the following? A fiduciary, b. principal, c. attorney in fact, d. power of attorney. Correct answer is C. This is a definition of an attorney in fact. Fiduciary refers to a relationship of trust established between people. A principal is one who appoints an agent. 44. A real estate salesperson's license has been suspended because money was paid out of the recovery account to a person who had a judgment against the salesperson. His license will not be reinstated until he a. pays the recovery account for the money it paid plus interest, b. pays the recovery account for half of the money plus interest, c. pays the person any amount not paid by the recovery account, d. pays the recovery account and the person all money due plus interest. Correct answer is A. The licensee must reimburse the recovery account for all of the money it paid out plus interest before the license can be reinstated. 45. Robert Willard borrowed money from Young and gave the lender a trust deed on 6 separate parcels of previously unencumbered real property that he owned. In such a circumstance, the trust deed would be regarded as A. an all-inclusive deed of trust, b. a purchase money deed of trust, c. a subordinated deed of trust, d. a blanket deed of trust. Correct answer is D. When more than one parcel is the security for the repayment of a loan, the trust deed is a blanket over all of the parcels, thus, the term blanket deed of trust. The loan is not purchase money because the funds were not used to purchase the property. 46. What is the best way to create an agency relationship? A. By actions, b. by being considerate, c. by written agreement, d. by cooperating with other brokers. Correct answer is C. Written agreements are the best way to create an agency relationship. 47. Turnkey projects are subdivisions that have been approved by the local authorities but not the state authorities. B. Construction projects that are ready for occupancy. C. The interior areas of subdivisions. D. Rural subdivisions. Correct answer is B. Construction projects which are ready for occupancy are called turnkey projects because all that a tenant has to do is turn the key in the door and go in and he is ready for business. 48. Appraiser Irvine employed a land residual technique. The unknown factor and desired result would be net income, B. Building value, C. Land value, D. Capitalization rate. Correct answer is C. In employing the land residual technique, the end result would be the land value. 49. A description of property that reads commencing on the south side of O Street, at a point 150 feet west of O and 85th Street, running in a southwesterly direction, would be an example of which of the following land description methods? The recorded lot and block system, B. U.S. government range and township system, C. Meets and bounds, D. U.S. coastal and geodetic survey. Correct answer is C. The question gives an example of the meets and bounds system of legal description. 50. In estimating the value of Raphael's single-family dwelling, Brokerage owns, the appraiser uses the same monthly gross rent multiplier that has been computed for comparable properties in the same neighborhood. The comparable properties each have a rent amount of $300 monthly and recent selling prices of approximately $45,000. The owner's property is currently renting for $320 per month. The broker therefore would estimate the value of the property to be $45,000, B. $48,000, C. $51,000, D. $54,000. Correct answer is B. 1. $45,000 comparable selling price divided by $300 monthly rent. Comparable properties equals 150 gross rent multiplier 2. 150 gross rent multiplier x $320 actual rent equals $48,000 approximate value.